Let's go straight back to the scene of that bizarre 10-hour incident in Sydney yesterday in the Sydney suburb of Mossman. Our reporter Nick Dole joins us from there now. Nick, good morning. What is the latest information we have about Madeleine Pulver's ordeal yesterday?
Well, good morning, Michael. At this stage, Madeleine Pulver is safe and she's been reunited with her family after 10 harrowing hours. She spent that entire time trying to be freed from what police believe was an explosive, or at least they did at that stage. Now, there are reports this morning that police now think that those explosives, or what they thought was an explosive, may not be as dangerous as what they first thought. But we should stress those are unconfirmed, and at this stage, police have still a fairly large cordon around this area here in Mossman.
And take us back to where all this began. Madeleine has told police that an intruder entered her home there at about 2:30 yesterday afternoon.
That's right. Earlier reports suggested it was a man in a balaclava who connected her up to an explosive device of some description. Now, police initially weren't giving many details about what it was, except to say that it was in very close vicinity to her and she couldn't get away. She was in the front room of the house and bomb squad officers joined her in that front room, as well as some police negotiators. There were only a few police in the room with her. The rest of them and the rest of the public were kept at a safe distance. Now, Madeleine, believe it or not, despite this ordeal, police negotiators say was in a pretty good mood. Her parents, it should be said, that's another story altogether. They were kept outside this police cordon. They weren't allowed to speak to their daughter for safety and operational reasons, and you can only imagine how hard that would have been for them, standing away from their own home while their daughter was in there, rigged up to what at least they thought at the time were explosives. It's a very troubling thought.
And Nick, before we go on, we can now confirm that police have told the ABC there was no explosive in that device that was said to have been attached to Madeleine Pulver's neck. Obviously, that is now the subject of intense police investigations. What has added to the drama is that where you're standing, Nick, is in the middle of one of Sydney's wealthiest suburbs there.
That's right, Michael. Just to set the scene for people who don't know Mossman very well, and you probably can't see a lot around me, the sun is just coming up in Sydney, but just behind me are the grounds around Taronga Zoo, and just south of there is the harbour, and that is one of the most amazing views probably in Sydney. It's a very high-end suburb. There is a lot of affluence here, and that has led to the speculation that indeed some sort of plot was hatched to extort money from her family. But police, it should be said, are saying that's just one avenue they're looking at, and they're exploring all possibilities. Michael, just adding to what you mentioned in terms of the police confirming there are no explosives found at this address, it just tells you something about the effort that has been gone to. 10 hours they took to identify what this was and get it off Madeleine. They consulted overseas. They went to the United Kingdom. They spoke to the AFP, trying to get their expertise. It certainly tells you something about how much someone has thought about what they're doing here to make it look like a very viable explosive that has really caused a lot of chaos here in this neighbourhood, and of course for Madeleine's family.
Chaos indeed, and yeah, just confirming that breaking news that police have confirmed there was no explosive attached to this device. That's not to say that a device was attached to Madeleine Pulver's neck, and that is going to be where the police investigations head today.
That's right, and police did say that while they were working with Madeleine, they were able to get a fair bit of information from her. As I said, she was in a pretty good state of mind, and although they were trying to calm her down, they were able to ask her a lot of questions and get some solid leads. Now, she has been taken to hospital, or early this morning she was taken to hospital and reunited with her family. No doubt there will be many more interviews to come, but police do say they have some information they are working on.
OK, Nick Dole, thank you again for the update. We'll go back to you a little later in the program.